everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having an amazing day so far. This video is all about my fellow empaths who live in a city or just every day how to reground yourself, clear your energy, and just to, live an everyday life, because being an empath, and if you do have abilities that are opening up, it can feel really overwhelming just to go to the grocery store and just to hang out with two friends. Even that can feel too much sometimes, and I totally understand that. So I have some techniques that have really helped me in just my journey of opening up spiritually, and realizing that the anxiety I had as a kid really was just me picking up on other people's energies, feelings, emotions, and also me picking up on spirits, but I didn't know it at the time. So my body just kind of took it in as anxiety, pit in the stomach, panic attack. So I hope these all help you guys. So the first one is being in nature. I have been doing that since my whole life. That has always worked. Being in nature is so healing, and it's just like a palate cleanser. Every time you feel anxious, you're like, I don't know what to do, what decision should I make, what do I do? Really just put your phone away and then just go in nature with yourself, and I feel like that just kind of pushes everything away, and you're back to who you are. You're back to square one. You're back to who you are, what you wanted to accomplish that day, and then your answer comes up. Whatever you're confused about or you're stressed about, it will just come up because you're not so plugged into social media and other people's lives and other people and the energy around you. It all goes away. And it kind of just refreshes you for whatever you have next or whatever you have going on throughout the day. It's like a little palate cleanser. So that's the first one, being in nature. It's amazing if you can go to an ocean, to a park, to hiking mountains, hiking trails. I really recommend anything. It's wonderful. Nature is so grounding and healing and calming, and just you feel like you can breathe, and it's just like a breath of fresh air, and I love it. I am in nature almost every single day. Whether that's just driving 3 minutes up the road to just quickly go on a hiking trail for 5 minutes, whatever time I have, I need that, because it's my body's oh, I'm home. It just has that. So number 2 is salt baths. Those are amazing, Epsom salt baths, and you can buy it at CVS or any drugstore. It's just in a nice warm bath. The salts, they're so detoxifying for your body, and not just, physical sore muscles and aches and stuff, but there's just something about salt baths and, especially being in the ocean and all that stuff. It's just so, calming if you are spiritually sensitive and you have abilities that are opening up. Salt baths are wonderful. I don't know specifically, what about them is so just healing and calming, but they just are. They're really wonderful. So number 3 is meditating. That is kind of just numero uno. And any way that is comfortable for you. For everyone, it's different. Sometimes I'm in the mood to just sit by myself silently on a mat. Other times, my meditation is hiking in nature with my eyes open and I'm walking. Sometimes my meditation is just driving around and just kind of just looking at the scenery and kind of just getting lost and all that stuff. But yeah, find what works for you. Maybe your form of meditation is painting. Maybe it's going running. Maybe it is going to a dance class, whatever it may be, cooking. It's different for everyone, and it's a fun little journey to go on with yourself to discover that. So yeah, I also recommend, just for everyone in general, but if you do have abilities that are opening up and you are just sensitive to other people and you need your alone time, just calm time, I really recommend having a morning and night routine. Just universally, if you're traveling wherever, just stick as much as you can to having a routine that really works for you. That makes life a lot easier. It really is healthy mind, body, spirit. And for me, my routine every single morning, and truly, I make it a priority. So I don't mind if I'm traveling, like, I'll pack a juicer, like, all that. I'll pack, like, essential oils and salts and stuff, because I know, like, what works for me. Now at 22 years old, I know, okay, this is what works for me. I'm going to build and always expand on the new and the positive and what works for me. So for me, my morning routine, just like a little quick thing, it's waking up, drinking some water, stretching, and then I do a large cup of either cucumber or celery juice on an empty stomach. And truly that, if any of you have acne problems or skin issues, celery juice on an empty stomach every single morning will change your life. I have had issues with like cystic acne, like on my jaw and my chin sometimes. Seriously though, that has just changed. It's the best thing ever. Celery juice on an empty stomach is wonderful. And then I kind of like eat breakfast, work out, and then I check my phone after all that stuff, because I have to set in my energy. Me, Megan Gallagher, I have to set in that, feel that. Everything else comes second. So yeah, having a morning and night routine is just, it makes life so much easier, and you just get back to who you are more and more and more, and you're reminded of who you are, your beliefs, really what feels good to you, just all that stuff. And that makes life, it just sets the tone for the rest of your life. When you have that like foundation of who I am, this is what I want to do, it's like boom, done. The rest of your life is a piece of cake. And then number 4 is eating healthy. Once again, listen to your body, love it and respect it, and honor that some foods may not really fit well and they're not going to feel well. So you have to honor your body, and that is listening to what digests well, what, like, just being mindful and being aware, like, okay, I ate some cheese and now I have a headache and a stomach ache. Okay, my body is trying to talk to me like that. My body doesn't like that. Kind of going through that process of noticing and paying attention to, if you eat certain foods, does it cause a flare-up of acne or all that stuff? And for me personally, as my just psychic and intuitive and clairaudient and clairvoyant abilities open up, my diet, the past 2 years, my diet has shifted a lot, but within the last like 6 months, my diet has become really just like basically a paleo type diet, like no dairy, no gluten, no caffeine, no alcohol, a little bit of sugar because like I love candy and chocolate and stuff, but I really stick to that because it's made my skin better, my mood, I have more energy, I just feel healthy, less bloated. So really eating healthy and like organic, just not like raw, but just that kind of foods. Like for me right now, if I were to go eat McDonald's, that wouldn't work well. I would get a headache. I would feel really gross because I feel like when you are really intuitive and just you're very spiritually like aware and you have major abilities, like you can sense and you can feel like when foods have a ton of MSG or like salt and sodium and they're just like fried and gross, and like you can feel that, so you're just like ugh, and you totally feel that. So that is what I recommend. I don't really eat fast food because my body doesn't like it, so why would I do that? Okay, and the last one, number 5 is limit your time on social media and TV. Empaths, basically my belief of an empath is that they really are sensitive to their environment and they can pick up on like their environment, other people around them, the energies, the feelings, the thoughts. They're basically like a sponge. And if you aren't aware that you are an empath, it can be extremely overwhelming sometimes, and you can just feel like you're anxious all the time. You're like, what's wrong? Everywhere I go, I'm anxious. Like, what's happening? Even in my room, I'm anxious. In my car, I'm anxious. But really, you have to just, and I say this out loud all the time, I'm like, other people's energies and thoughts, leave my space now. And then I immediately feel better because I just cleared my space. So limiting your time on social media, not watching a lot of TV is going to help you. and, you know, replace those habits with habits that support you and who you're becoming and who you're evolving into spiritually. So instead of like going on Instagram, because sometimes we get sucked into the black hole, and I do it sometimes too, where you go on, you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be 5 minutes, and like 3 hours later, you're like, oh my god, you're like, what time is it? What year is it? And it's like this, you just get sucked in. So I recommend limiting your time and just managing your time and being like, okay, like, you know, before you go on your phone, be like, okay, what is going to make me feel better? Is it going on Instagram, or is it going on a hike, or is it eating a healthy meal? Or, you know, just really be honest with yourself and really be like, okay, what is going to make me feel better? Because no one else's life is more important than yours. And no one else's like photo album on Facebook is more important than your present moment in your life. So remember that. So I hope those helps. Those are my 5 tips for my fellow empaths, people who are spiritually sensitive in their abilities, whether that is psychic, any of the clairvoyant, clairaudient, and that's for the clairs are just like a medium, but it's basically clairvoyant is you can see things, see spirits. Clairaudient is you can hear. Clairsentient is you can sense. Claircognizant is just like a knowing, kind of just that intuitive feeling. I think that's all the clairs. I think there may be one more clair, which is also smell. Like you can smell, like for example, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I just smelled like my old grandma who passed away, like her perfume, and that's so like that's kind of you smell scents. So I hope that helps. If you guys do feel like your abilities are opening up, feel free to comment. I know sometimes it can just feel overwhelming and like your whole world is being flipped upside down and you're like, what's going on? But it's really the beginning of a wonderful thing, and it really is a blessing and a gift to have any type of ability, and just having a strong intuition, that is a really wonderful thing. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.